Bet on Bears fans, another edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat the Designer, Jason McKie. That's right. The Bears loss has driven Jason McKie to have to sit in the car and do the podcast. That's how upset he was with the loss. he had to get out of the school. J Mack was good.
You're right. I'm hiding out in the car, in my son's car, man. The loss broke me down. It broke me down out of my car, into my son's car, into the parking lot at the school. That's how bad that loss broke me down in Baltimore, bro. Like, man, like, unbelievable. Then my son's phone's ringing in here. So, yeah, man. You hear that? The phone's coming through on the Bluetooth. But now, we got to do a pod by any means necessary. So, if I got to do it in the car, Bears fans, I'm going to do it because we got to break down this game. Bears, Bengals, Sunday. Can't wait. Let's get it going. Pat, the Designer.
If we can't get the offense going this week, we got some serious problems. We got to talk about what this Bears team has going up against it here. Yeah. Joe Flacco looking like he's probably going to play, which, I mean, tells you a lot about the faith that they have in Jake Browning. So we'll talk about all that and more on today's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast. Make sure that you guys know today's episode is brought to you by Underdog. Make picks, win money. Let's jump straight into this, J Mack. The offense did not. I will say this: when you watch the tape back, and I want to get your thoughts on this as well. When I watch the tape back, I see a quarterback who didn't have as bad of a day as many people want to say, but the mistakes that he made were killer. Not running out of bounds, 2 intentional grounding penalties, not being on the same page with his wide receivers, and of course the interception. Being the big thing there. When you watch the tape back, when you see Caleb Williams, do you feel like that's a guy who's understanding the system and just needs to improve on the decision-making going into this week?
Yeah, it's you're going to have growth and development, and you're going to have growing pains. And we're going to see that from a second-year quarterback. I repeat, second-year quarterback in a second system. So, and we see this, right? Some guys in playing this position take longer to develop than other guys. You know, we see Sam Darnold just now developing, right? You see Baker Mayfield is having making waves out there in Tampa, but we saw where he was at before he got to Tampa. So all these quarterbacks are actually going to develop and arrive at different stages in their career. And Caleb's, just in the long line of quarterbacks that just have to, come in and understand the game. He's still learning the game, learning a whole new system. I'm not making excuses for him, but we're going to see growth. We saw growth. I saw a lot of plays in which he, made some really good throws, delivered the ball on time in rhythm. He found that chemistry with Rome, and he made, timely, critical plays. And then you saw the plays that he made that really hurt the Bears in critical situations. You talked about it, Pat. 2 intentional groundings, obviously the interception that you can't have that set up a score for the Ravens when you had an opportunity to come back and possibly take that game away. So it's growing pains, and I think that's something that you're going to see the remainder of the year. There's going to be games where Caleb goes out and plays really well, and there's going to be games where he goes out and plays mediocre, and there's going to be games where he's going to play bad. It's a part of the growing pains of playing the position at the highest level.
Yeah, 100%. I think the big thing now as we head into this Bengals game is and I think the Bears understand it as well. The one thing I've harped on all week has been the penalties that this team has gone through, the up and down pre-snap issues, and Ben Johnson and Declan Doyle talked about how they're doing things a little bit differently at practice this week. I think what Roma Dunze said was, I can't go into detail on anything specific, but the penalty for having pre-snap issues has definitely been heightened in practice. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means like everybody gets together and just beats the crap out of the guy that jumps off sides or how that works. Man. But I feel like, your coaching staff is trying to make an emphasis on getting that part right. To me, J Mack, no matter what, if you can get the pre-snap penalties down, I've given the numbers a few times this week. The Bears have only scored touchdowns on 7% of their snaps where they've been penalized at any point in the drive. That, to me, puts this Bears offense in a much more advantageous situation going up against a Bengals defense that almost wants to give you yards. Like, it's bad. Like, the passing game, run game, this is a defense you should be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, like you said, when you have those pre-snap penalties, right, it just kills drives, especially, early first down. I mean, you're already starting behind the chains. It's hard to overcome those self-inflicted mistakes. And I think the craziest thing, it's coming from guys who, rookies, young guys, older guys. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from all angles with this Bears offense in critical situations. So if you can't get that under control, there will never be any type of consistency within this offense, and we'll continue to see field goals. You'll continue to see missed opportunities to take advantage of takeaways that the defense has given us in advantageous field position. You'll continue to see us not being able to put points on the board in those situations because of the self-inflicted mistakes. And as a coach, it's extremely frustrating. You can see the frustration on Coach Johnson's face at the podium when talking about this, right?
Oh yeah.
And he talked about how, it's and like he said, it's really up to the players, because at the end of the day, the cadence is the cadence. We understand the cadence. We're trying to use the cadence as a weapon, right? We're trying to get some extra yardage, being able to draw the defense offside. But if we're having those self-inflicted mistakes, getting those false start penalties, those pre-snap penalties, then it's not a weapon. And the players have to take ownership of their
Yeah.
own craft, of their own cadence, right? Older guys, young guys, like, we got to figure out how to nip this in the bud to make sure that we can be an effective offense. And until you do that, we're going to continue to see an offense that's up and down.
Yeah, and I'll ask you this, J Mac. Do we like the fact that Ben Johnson is saying, I'm not adjusting what we
Yeah.
want to do because you guys can't get it done? Do you like that as from your head coach? Because right, we've seen in times past, right? Oh, these guys aren't getting it, and so we're gonna dumb the system down. We're gonna take some off of their plate. We're gonna let them figure this out. Ben Johnson is like, y'all figure it out, or we're gonna figure out what to do with y'all.
Yeah, I agree with
Like that's how
yeah.
this week feels like it's been.
Yeah, I agree with Coach Johnson, because at the same time, yeah, you may dumb down the playbook, right? We don't need as many runs. We don't need as many passes, right? Let's keep it simple so we can go out there and play fast and not have to really think. And when we're out there thinking, it puts us a step slower than the defense, and we're not dictating to the defense, right? So in terms of the cadence, like you said, it is what it is. We are professionals. We have to understand what the cadence is and be able to go, on the snap of the cadence. You know what I'm saying? That gives us a leg up on the defense, being able to utilize a cadence as a weapon. If we can't do that, like, then hey, there's other alternatives, which I don't know, which may be, replacing guys on the lineup that can actually go on the cadence. I don't know what his alternative is, but I like his approach. Don't change your approach. The cadence is the cadence, and we've worked on this throughout the whole off season, right? Mini camps, OTAs, training camps, and we're still having these issues, throughout the season, which is ridiculous. We're professionals, so we got to get that under control.
Yeah, let's hope that we can finally get that part down. I want to talk about the defensive side of the ball as well. An addition made to the defense. We'll get to that in a second here, J Mac. But we do got to get your underdog play of to put into our pick'em here. So far, we've got a Jamar Chase first touchdown. That's from Yurko. He's always going a little eccentric on some of these plays here. Caleb Williams higher than 1.5 touchdowns. We got a Jamar Chase higher than 8.5 receptions. J Mac, what do you like in this game? Is there a player you're looking at? Is there something you're seeing that stands out to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go DJ Moore. I think this is an opportunity for him to be a guy that's highly targeted. We saw what he did last week when given opportunities. And I think, I'm going with the DJ Moore anytime touchdown, just because, the Bengals have given up 19 touchdown passes, second highest in the NFL. So, hey, let's throw one to Rome. There you go. That's one. That's higher. That's one touchdown right there. Let's throw one to DJ. Now you're higher than the 1.5 that we already have on a parlay. So my underdog, right? My a part of the parlay, my man DJ Moore, book it. Anytime touchdown. Bear down, baby.
Let's hope that we get that, and hope that you guys are able to make a little bit of money for that. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code CBP to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code CBP. Underdog, make picks, win money. EO, cue the disclaimer. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in here to the Chicago Bears podcast. Path of Designer Jason McKie back in the building. All right, J Mac, we talked about the offense of this team. Now let's take a look at the defense. They add CJ Gardner-Johnson in kind of to take over that Kyler Gordon role. But I've continued to say this, and I do think that adding CJ and Jaquan Brisker both being able to play at that line of scrimmage, we know the versatility they have, that will help you
Yeah,
going into this game. But J Mac, if you can't get pressure on Joe
boy.
Flacco in this game, I'm gonna be honest with you. You got some serious question marks
Yeah,
on your defensive line. There's an offensive line that has allowed a ton of sacks. They have played better with Flacco back there, which is kind of surprising to me.
right.
Yurko talked about, Burrow probably more willing to hang in the pocket and let the play develop because he trusts his O line there. But to me, I feel like this offensive line has been playing better. But I'm looking at those big boys up front: Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, Dio Adangbo. You're adding Austin Booker into the mix, Montez Sweat. You got a lot of investment in that defensive line that hasn't really had the day where you go, look how dominant that D line is.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you look at this Bengals offense, an offense that can score points in bunches, they just scored 38 against the Jets and a loss. And I know it's the Jets, but at the same time, you look at what Joe Flacco's done since taking over that starting position, right? 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in 3 games. Like, I mean, and he's got the weapons around him. And Joe Flacco's a guy who was a teammate of mine in Baltimore. Believe it or not, he's still playing at 40 plus. So that tells you how old I am. So, but at the same time, when you look,
Can you imagine still
bro,
being out there trying to do it, J
man,
Mac?
not at fullback. No, I can't. That's why I'm on the sideline watching. But no, I'm just looking at Joe Burrow, right? There's no magic coverage. There's no type of disguising coverage that you can utilize that's going to confuse this man. The guy is very intelligent, very smart. He's an offensive coordinator on the field. He's always been that way. And the one thing that Father Time has not taken away from Joe Flacco is that arm talent, that arm strength. He's always had that. He can make every throw. He throws in anticipation and accuracy. And it's no secret when you have weapons around him and you can protect him, he's putting up these touchdowns in bunches. And I think with Joe Flacco, the main thing that you have to do is where he's going to be within that pocket because he doesn't have the type of mobility he had early on in his career. And even early in his career, he wasn't a guy that was gonna extend plays with his legs. He is a surgeon in the pocket. He wants to beat you from the pocket. So you defensively, right? This defensive line and whatever type of scheme that Coach Allen devises for Joe Flacco, you know where he's going to be. You
Yeah.
know where his mark is. So you got to get home, right? You got to get home, and I think you have to. If you can't get pressure with your front four, you got to bring second level pressure with a linebacker or bring third level pressure. You talked about Brisker. You talk about the addition of Chauncey Gardner. You're going to have to do something to be able to one hit Joe Flacco, right, but also disrupt the timing of this offense because this is a week, right, where we thought that cliche rush and cover. Well, guess what? That rush better get home. If not, we're going to have a hell of a time trying to cover all these weapons. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Oh, my goodness. Jamar Chase is balling. I mean, I think he's second in the NFL in terms of receiving yards. He's got 5 touchdowns, 70 catches, Pat. So it's going to be a tall task for this Bears defense.
I love that my husband's so handy. He leaves more money for the important stuff. Gosh darn it, Steve.
Ow. Don't be like Steve. Call Avondale Roofing. DIY is for Pinterest, not your roof.
No, 100%. And the big thing for me is Flacco is not fully healthy coming into this game. He's been limited participation. He's got some issues with that AC joint. It tells you what they think about Jake Browning, that they're more willing to throw Joe Flacco out there with an AC joint issue
please let
in
Jake
his
play.
throwing shoulder than Jake Browning.
Please let Jake play, please.
This is hey, bro, you know what I mean? This is to me a situation where your defense should be able to really pin their ears back and get to the quarterback. Listen, as amazing as Jamar Chase is, as amazing as T. Higgins is, they're only as amazing as a quarterback that's able to get the ball to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing for me, where if you focus on getting to Flacco, he's not going anywhere. Now, the one thing, like you said, the mind of Joe Flacco, and I would almost say this, J Mack, I think he's been able to play this long because he's gotten to a point where he goes, I don't want to get hit.
Yeah.
If I get hit, it hurts a lot more now. I got to get this football
Right.
out of my hands extremely fast. That means that the blitz may not be nearly as effective. We've seen quarterbacks, right, going up against the Minnesota Vikings, as much as they use the zero blitz. When you got that quick trigger, you're able to beat that a lot of times. So to me, like when I see this game versus Flacco, I feel like you need to be able to get pressure with your front four, not sending CJ Gardner-Johnson all the time, not sending Brisker, not sending Edwards, because that's going to be the best way for you to be able to handle a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins out there, having more guys available to cover. I think this has to be a game where your defensive line steps up and is able to really kind of put a stamp on this game.
Yeah, and at the same time, we're talking about Flacco in this passing game that the Bengals have. I think we're doing a disservice to the running game. And when you look at what Samaje Perine and
Yeah.
Chase Brown did last week against the Jets, both of those guys had great days. I think they're a good tandem. I think that's a tandem in which, when you look at those two guys, I would love to have that type of parity with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monunga. And both of those
Yeah.
guys, they got on track last week, and we cannot continue to let them, get revved up, get lathered up, and really make it hard. Because if that run game is revved up, and the Bengals are taking advantage of that run game, utilizing play action, run action, it's going to be even more difficult to put an end to that passing game that the Bengals have with all those weapons. So it's going to be a tall task for this Bears defense. I do think, you start, despite having T. Higgins, Noah Fant, who's a really good tight end as well, that's played well, and we already know what Jamar Chase can do. Despite the passing game, right? I think you have to start with taking away the run, right? Make this Bengals offense one-dimensional, right? So that way, it's easier to cover when you know they have to pass if you take away the run. But if they got that run game revved up, that passing game's revved up, that run game's going to fuel that pass game. It's going to be a tall task for this Bears defense, because they got weapons, and like I said, they can put points up in bunches, and they've shown that.
Yeah, 100%. I think the big thing right now, especially heading into this game, is going to be trying to, like you said, limit them as much as possible. As crazy as it is to say, with the kind of yards and points that they put up, you almost want to be in this world where you're letting Joe Flacco throw the football.
Yeah.
Looking at the injury report going into this, we are recording this before the Friday injury report comes out, but yesterday's final report that we got: DNP Luther Burden, DNP Roshan Johnson, DNP Dominique Robinson, DNP DeAndre Swift, a little bit concerning there. DNP Joe Tooney, that was a rest day, not injury related. We're getting into the point where old. Yeah, I mean, a little old day. There's nothing wrong with that. Cole Kmet was limited. DJ Moore limited. Roma Dunze limited. Olamide Zaccheaus limited. Tyreek Stevenson a full go. So that is one weapon that you get back. And Eamon Agbangbamiga, who could be designated for return, was a full go at practice yet again. Hearing the injury report there, J Mack, does the DeAndre Swift name still being DNP 2 days in with that groin concern you a little bit? This is the first time since he's been on the injury report where he's been back-to-back DNP.
Yeah, that does worry me, because it is the first time, and I think that, it's, you look at if he practices today, and like we're recording this before practice, so usually on Friday we call it a fast Friday. So you're pretty much, it's an up-tempo practice. You run through a lot of different scenarios in terms of what you ran through the week. So you're going to go through your first and second down package. You're going to go through your third down package. You're going to go through your red zone and goal line package. You're going to go pretty much through the whole flow of the game plan, right? But it's faster. So practice is not as long. And if he's not getting those opportunities today, I don't see how, I don't really know. He's a veteran, so I'm pretty sure that he can, go through a walkthrough on Saturday and play on Sunday. But I think it's going to be a tall task. So, I mean, even with that, I still think we could see an increased carry load for Kyle Monunga, a guy who I'm very confident in. I would love to see him get more touches and more carries. So it could be a big day for Kyle Monunga. The one thing I don't know if I heard, I don't know if you said it, Pat, was Austin Booker. Austin Booker, we're good, right? Austin Booker?
Austin Booker has been activated off of IR. He was activated on Monday night, I believe, once we got the news that Shamar Turner would be going to IR. So he's been activated, and this is going to be your first
this would be
real opportunity to see him against the ones here in year 2.
Yeah, and this would be awesome, because like we talked about, getting the Flacco, right? Austin Booker has shown that pass rush ability to be able to affect the quarterback, and this is a perfect time for the Bears to get his talent back on that defensive front. So I'm excited to see Austin Booker play. But yeah, I am real worried about DeAndre Swift, on that injury report, still on that injury report.
How hard is it? Because I think, you're like, oh, he's a veteran, he knows what he's doing, he could just get it. How hard is it actually to like not practice all week and get out there to play?
Yeah, I think it's tough, especially, his injury, a groin injury, right? Running back, everything you do utilizes your groin. I mean, in any position, any position in
It's
football, I
growing.
mean, if you're a kicker, you're utilizing your groin in some aspect. So I think it's tough. It's one thing to get mental
Yeah.
reps, which I'm sure he's been doing, right? He hasn't been in the huddle. He hasn't physically ran through these plays. He's been taking mental reps. I'm sure he's been watching film. But at the same time, it's a lot different than going through it. I think that you just going through the actual play physically also gets your body conditioned to play a game, even though you're not being, hit like you are going to be hitting the game, but you're still actually running through the plays physically. So he loses that in terms of that aspect. But I think it's tough, man. I'm hoping he practices today. I would feel more comfortable. But if he doesn't practice today, I think, in my opinion, Pat, I don't see how he's going to be out there on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hope that we see him hit the field today when that injury report drops. We'll give you guys an update on that as well. All right, J Mack, let's finish it out with this. As we do every single week, we got to get our McKeys to the game. J Mack, what are our McKeys to a Chicago Bears victory
Yeah.
over the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, the first one I'm going with the Bears offense, right? Air that thing out. Put the ball in the air, right? Bengals giving up 31 points per game. Pat, I talked about it earlier. 19 passing touchdowns allowed. Oh my goodness. With only 11 sacks, they can't get home either, Pat. Caleb, you're going to have time. Put that thing in the air. DJ Moore, anytime touchdown. Book it, baby. Air that thing out. That's the first McKee to the game, right? And here's the second thing, Pat. We talked about this, right? Pre-snap penalties, right, in the red zone have led to what? Have led to field goals and not touchdowns. Well, guess what? We saw it, came back to bite us, and then you know what? Last week against the Ravens. Can't let that happen this week on the road. We need touchdowns, not field goals, right? This could be a track meet. This can be a track meet, and we need touchdowns on the board and not field goals. No disrespect, Cairo. Sit your butt down. We putting touchdowns on the board. All right, now, the next one, going to the defense, Pat. Get to Joe Flacco. Get to him. We know where he's going to be, right? I'm not saying he's going to be a statue in the pocket, but we know where he's going to be, right? We know where the mark's going to be. I don't care who's in there, what combination you need up front. Austin Booker, Javon Dexter, Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett. I'm calling everybody out. Daniel Hardy, I'm calling you out too, my dog. Get to Joe Flacco. Do not let him sit in that pocket, Pat. If we do, guess what? They're going to put up a lot of points, and we can't afford that. All right. And the last one, right? Yeah. I was hoping, and before, I don't know, I was hoping Jake Browning would play. So I had that on my McKeys to the game. And I think Flacco's going to play for obvious reasons. Jake Browning's thrown 8 interceptions and 3 starts. Oh my God, I can do that, Pat, right now. And I've been retired. Come on, man. What's he do? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Right? The last thing defensively, we talked about it throughout this pod, right? Defensively, make the Bengals one-dimensional. And what I mean by that is start with the run. Take away the run game, right? Eliminate the big explosive plays from Chase Brown and Samaje Perine, because guess what? If you get that run game revved up and fueled up, that passing game is going to open up. It's going to open up, and Joe Flacco will have plenty of time. And he's a quarterback that's very smart, but now he can utilize play action to open up things more for Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Noah Fant. Oh my God, they got weapons, Pat. It ain't even fair. Better stop the run. Those are my keys to the game.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Make sure that y'all leave your keys to a Chicago Bears victory. I think that J Mack is spot on with his keys on this one, man. There's some obvious things that we need to get fixed. And Ben Johnson going to get them fixed. Ben Johnson's out there. See, he probably out there with like a 2x4, and he like, I dare you to jump. I dare you to jump. Fire! I dare you to jump.
I'm going to be out there with the Ben Johnson face.
Nah, man.
The Ben Johnson face, he'd be like, touchdown Bears. He'd be like, sack Bears. Bears win.
Hey, good The only time you see him show any expression is when it's something bad. He just be like, "God, son of a, hold up,
Hey,
whoa,
man,
Ben, take 10%
yeah,
out."
I be showing way more emotion than coach, and I'm on the radio. They score, I be like, yeah, I be hoping my mic's off because I be going crazy. Interception, take away, I be cussing.
Hey, it don't matter if your mic's on or
Hey, they
off.
better keep it off. Danny Z,
Right,
make
right.
sure my
It
mic's
don't
not
matter if your
on.
mic's on or off with how yeah. No, I was gonna say it don't matter if your mic's on or off, because with how Thayer be
Oh,
jumping in
man.
there mid call, bro. The Bears score a touchdown, he'd be like, boom! He'd be, whoa, time, hold on.
He got the old school sound effects though. Like when there's a bad play, he'd be like, "No!" He'd be like, "No!" I'm like, "What is this? The Simpsons? Like, what are we doing here?"
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I feel like he's the epitome of every Bears
Yeah.
fan. Whenever we see something happen, that interception, he was like, "No!"
Yeah.
It was like, that was me. That was also me.
Oh man.
Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to Show of Love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. For Jason McKie, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace. Must be 18 years or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or over in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.